But then the line was engaged, wasn't it? Yes, not very intelligent that. 2 minutes later, he heard some whispered communications in the cell, and then McCleary's bored Scots voice. His Scottish voice was there, you know. Will you please stop writing a little while, V means little, while Mr. Evans, and listen carefully. Candidates offering German 0 to 1-1 should note the following correction. A little correction is there. On page 3, mind students, these lines are very important. On page 3, line 15. Page 3, line 15. So 315. Okay. The fourth word 3154. Fourth word should read golden and not golden. It should be as golden and not golden. And for red, some golden and loven, not some golden loven. Okay, students. So this correction was there. I will repeat that. The governor listened and smiled. He had taken German in the 6th from himself. He also knew something in German, so he thought, okay, everything was, he was getting, and he remembered all about the agreements of adjectives, and so did McCleary by the sound of things, for the minister's pronunciation was most impressive. His pronunciation was very good because he was expert in German. But what about Evans? Actually, this McCleary, this invigilator is speaking everything in German. He is giving instructions in German. I'm okay for him, but I'm doubtful for. He probably didn't know what an adjective was. He didn't know even the ABC of German language. So I don't think he is getting anything. The phone rang again. The magistrate's court. Now there was another phone call from the magistrate court. They needed a prison van. Students, please be careful. Now plotting starts. The magistrate's court, the place from where this phone call was there, they needed a prison van and a couple of prison officers. Remand case, and within 2 minutes the governor was wondering whether that could be a hoax, a state of confusion. He told himself not to be so silly. His imagination was beginning to run riot, means run wayward, means he himself was thinking of him that he was overreacting. So Evans, for the first quarter of an hour means 15 minutes. Stephens had dutifully peered, means when the examination has started and next 15 minutes were over, then Stephens had dutifully peered through the peephole at intervals of 1 minute. At every 1 minute interval, he was peeping through the peephole, right, as was his duty. Also, and after that, when he found every time whenever he was peeping through that peeping hole, he found everything same. So he had got bored. So now he had started peeping through in every 2 minutes interval. Then at 10:45 a.m. the paper started at 9:25 and it was now 10:45 a.m. Everything was still all right as he looked through the peephole once more. Right, students? Means the paper was to come to an end, was to be over at 11:45. 11:25, because 2 hours duration is there, right? It took 4 or 5 seconds, no more. What was the point? Why should I bother about this peeping through? It was always more or less the same every time. Whenever he had a look through the peephole, every time he found Evans holding the same position, like he was tugging his pen in this way, as if he was thinking something, So he also had got bored. What happened? I know he knows nothing in the paper, that's why he is just sitting, right, his pen between his lips, sat staring straight in front of him towards the door. So that door is there, so every time Evans was sitting like this. So that Stephens also had got bored. It seemed some sorely needed inspiration. Maybe he was getting some kind of inspiration from somewhere, and opposite him McCleary, seated McCleary was there in front of him. Right? So, inspiration from and opposite him, McCleary seated slightly askew from the table now. His face in semi-profile. Suppose I am sitting here, so my half of my face is visible to you. So, this is semi-profile, right? Okay, student, semi-profile, his hair, as Stephens had noticed earlier, amateurishly, means not perfectly, so perfectly trimmed, clipped pretty close to the scalp. His eyes behind the pebble lenses peering short-sightedly at the church times, and McCleary was in this way, as if somebody has short-sighted vision. So, in this way he was reading that newspaper. Right, students? His right index finger hooked beneath the narrow clerical collar. This collar was there, clerical collar was there, and the fingers of the left hand, the nails meticulously manicured. He has shaped his nails very perfectly, meticulously, right? Slowly stroking the short black beard in this way, he was tapping. At 10:50 a.m., the receiver crackled to life, and the governor realized he had almost forgotten Evans for a few minutes. So, then only he came to know, oh, I just forgot to hear him. Evans, please sir, a whisper. Evans, please sir, louder. Evans, would you mind if I put a blanket round me? Means he wanted to say something, so governor overheard him. So, can I use this blanket? I am feeling a bit colder. Can I put this blanket round my shoulders? It's a bit parky. Parky means a chilly, right? A kind of cold weather. So, in there, isn't it? Means while being inside at this position in the cell, I feel cold. So, can I use this blanket? There is one on me. On me means on my bunk there, sir. One blanket is already there on my bunk, sir. Be quick about it. Okay? Be quick. At 10:51 a.m., Stephens was more than a little surprised to see a grey regulation blanket draped round Evans' shoulders, and he frowned slightly and looked at the examinee more closely at Evans. Means he found the difference now. So, he felt a bit uneasy when he found that Evans had already covered his shoulders with a blanket. But Evans, the pen still between his teeth, was staring just as vacantly as before, like before he kept sitting blankly beneath a blanket, right? Should Stephens report the slight irregularity? Anything? Should he report of this matter to the governor? Anything at all fishy, doubtful? Hadn't Jackson said? He looked through the peephole once again, and Evans, as he did so, Evans pulled the dirty blankets more closely to himself. Was he planning a certain Batman? Means was he planning of wearing this blanket like a Batman? And in this way, he was about to muffle this McCleary to cause any kind of harm to him. Leap to suffocate McCleary to death, right? So, McCleary in the blanket? Oh, don't be daft. Don't be stupid, he is talking to himself. There was never any sun on this side of the prison, no heating either during of the cells during the summer months, and it could get quite chilly in some of the cells. Stephens decided to revert to his earlier every minute observation. So, he himself thought that it is but natural on the part of Evans that he is using his blanket round his shoulders, because he might be feeling a bit colder. So, naturally he might be using. Then he himself allowed, right, okay, but he thought, I should keep watching him now like before after every 1 minute. So, at 11:20, students, 11:25, the examination is to come to an end. Now, it was 11:20 a.m. and the receiver once more crackled across the silence of the governor's office, and McCleary informed Evans that only 5 minutes remained. As told before, this invigilator had already instructed Evans that before end of the examination, he would be warning him, he would be giving him a hint. So, And McCleary informed Evans that only 5 minutes remained. The examination was almost over now, but something still gnawed away quietly in the governor's mind. Something still. Jokey was there, stupefying the governor in his mind. He reached for the phone once more. Something went wrong in the mind of the governor and he thought of doing something. So, at 11:22, 3 minutes before the examination was over, at 11:22 a.m., Jackson shouted along the corridor to Stephens. The governor wanted to speak with him. Look here, students. Jackson called Stephens that the governor wanted to speak to him. Hurry, man, hurry up, hurry up. So, Stephen picked up the phone apprehensively, doubtfully, fearfully, and listened to the rapidly spoken orders. What orders were there? Stephens himself was to accompany McCleary to the, and these instructions were given. Students, mind it. Instruction was, Stephen was supposed to accompany McCleary to the main prison gate. Means he was supposed to take McCleary out of the prison premises till the main gate. Right? This duty was assigned to Stephens. Understood? Is that clear? Stephens personally was to make absolutely sure that the door was locked on Evans after McCleary had left the cell. Understood? He was to check whether after McCleary had left the cell, once again the cell was bolted from outside, was locked from outside or not. He was to ensure that. Stephens. Understood? Okay, sir. Understood. At 11:25 a.m., the governor heard the final exchanges, means final conversation. McCleary was saying, stop writing please, means 11:25, the time was over. Put your sheets in order and see they are correctly numbered. You know, whenever you take supplementary copies, you put down the number 1, 2, 3, 4, so they are in a proper serial numbers, right? Sequentially, you have arranged them, so McCleary was giving instructions, numbered, right? Scrapping of chairs and tables. Okay, student. Thank you very much, sir. All right, was it? I hope the paper was all right. Oh, not too bad, sir. Good, Mr. Stephens. McCleary is saying, now Mr. Stephens, as if he was just calling out. The governor heard the door clang for the last time. Clang means metallic sound, okay, when the door is slammed. The examination was over. So, students, you can think the examination was over. Now, how did he get on? Do you think? Asked Stephens as he walked beside McCleary to the main gates. How was the exam? Oh, I cannot think. I cannot think. He is distinguished himself. Means he is quite intelligent. I cannot think. I am afraid. I am afraid about his success, about his promotion, means about whether he would pass or not. His Scottish accent seemed broader than ever, and his long black overcoat reaching almost to his knees fostered the illusion, means what we think, our opinion or idea, that he had certainly grown slimmer. Means he was confused. Stephens was quite confused that earlier he was looking quite fat like. But now what has happened? He is looking slim. So, is there anything wrong in the cell? Means when he was in the cell, something went wrong? Oh, he has lost his weight. What happened? He is looking slimmer. Stephens felt pleased that the governor had asked him. He had given this duty to him and not Jackson. So, to see McCleary of the premises, and all in all the morning had gone pretty well. He was feeling satisfied, but something stopped him from making his way directly to the canteen, and he felt like having a cup of coffee, relaxing coffee in the canteen. But as he was going to the canteen, all of a sudden something struck his mind and he thought of going to the Evans cell once again to ensure whether it was properly locked or not. So, making his way directly to the canteen for a belated cup of coffee. He wanted to take just one last look at Evans. It was like a program he had seen on TV about a woman who could never really convince herself that she had locked the front door when she had gone to bed. Often she had got got up 12, 15, sometimes 20 times to check the bolts. Actually, it just happens when we are apprehensive about any mishap. So it just happens to us. So like that woman also who just woke up during her sleep at night just to ensure whether she had properly bolted the door or not. So he also once again wanted to ensure himself whether he had locked Ivan's cell properly or not. This is the bit of humor, right? He re-entered D wing, made his way along to Ivan's cell and opened the peephole once more. Once again he opened that peephole just to peep through that Evans was there. Oh no! Oh God! No! There sprawled back in Evans' chair was a man. For a semi-second Stephens thought it must be Evans. So for a while he thought it must be Evans, but when he looked at him properly, observantly, then he came to know, oh no, what's wrong? Means that human body was lying on the chair, sprawling in this way, right? A grey regulation blanket slipping from his shoulders in the front of his closely cropped, irregularly tufted hair, means unevenly cropped hair, awash with fierce red blood was dropping, which had dripped already through the small black beard and was even now spreading horribly over the white clerical collar and down into the black clerical front. Overall, we can say that blood was dropping, means his whole face was covered with blood, right? Stephen shouted wildly for Jackson. He called out Jackson, and the words appeared to penetrate the curtain of blood that veiled McCleary's ears. Means overall, means his whole face was covered with blood. So he shouted for Jackson. McCleary's ears, for the minister's hand felt feebly, lightly, weakly for a handkerchief from his pocket. He just took out a handkerchief and in this way he was just wiping the blood. So, and held it to his bleeding head. The blood seeping slowly through the white linen, you know that white handkerchief was there in the beginning, it was mentioned. So he gave a long low moan in this way, this is moaning, okay. So, and tried to speak, but his voice trailed away, means he could not speak properly, and by the time Jackson had arrived and dispatched Stephens to ring the police, he sent Stephens to call in the police and the ambulance. The handkerchief was sticky with blood and squelchy vouch, means whenever a lump of cloth and that is damp with blood. So this is known as vouch of cloth. McCleary slowly raised himself, his face twisted tightly with pain. Don't worry, means don't worry about the ambulance, don't care for ambulance. Don't think of ambulance, man. I'm all right. This is all. I'm all right. I'm all right. Get the police. I know where he, means Evans, where he has gone. He closed his eyes and another drip of blood splashed like a huge and raindrop on the wooden floor. His hand felt along the table, found the German question paper and grasped it tightly in his blood-stained hand. He just picked the question paper, German question paper, with his bloody hands, and he said, something is there, get the governor, I know where Evans has gone. As if he wanted to say something about where Evans had gone. Almost immediately sirens were sounding, prison officers barked orders were issued and puzzled prisoners pushed their way along the corridors, and in other cells some other prisoners were also there and they were also confused. What wrong was there? Doors were banged and bolted and phones were ringing everywhere, and means instructions were being given to each and everybody that Evans had run away, so he must not be allowed to run away. They just wanted to confirm whether he had left or not. And within a minute, McCleary with Jackson and Stephens supporting him on either side, his face now streaked and in this way he was seeing, and blood was dropping and caked with drying blood. You know This is the common feature of blood. It just gets thick after some time. So, looking like cake, was greeted in the prison yard by the governor, perplexed, and now governor was there. He was looking confused and grim, a bit confused and upset like, right? We must get you to the hospital immediately. I just don't want to take any kind of risk. Yes, first of all, we must take you to the hospital. You have called the police? Have you called the police? Yes, they are on the way, but they mean police. I'm all right. Look here. Awkwardly, he opened the German question paper and put it forcibly into the hands of the governor. Means on the governor's face, he just showed it. It's there. It has been mentioned here. Do you see what I mean? Do you know what I mean? The governor looked down and realized what McCleary was trying to tell him. Now, the governor realized that McCleary was trying to show something. A photocopied sheet had been carefully and cleverly superimposed. Means, suppose this is the question paper, the last page was there, and very perfectly it was stuck to the last page. This is superimposed, as if it looks only one, but the thing is, two sheets were there, looking like one only, over the last originally blank page of the question paper. You see what they have done, governor? You see, his voice trailed off again as the governor dredging the layers of long neglected learning. He was quite confusing, and in this way he was holding his head. What mistake we have committed? Willed himself to translate the German text before him. He was thinking why I did not carefully go through the instructions earlier. So the instructions were size, sollen, dam, scorn. These are some instructions, students. So we do not know German, so I am not reading it. So it's English translation. I am just telling you. You must follow the plan already planned something. So you must follow, as we already decided. The vital point, the very important point in time is 3 minutes before the end of the examination, but something. You know, students, do you remember at 11:22 I told you, when only 3 minutes remained, there was a phone call. So that was very much important. That phone call was very much important. That rang just 3 minutes before the examination was over. Right, students? So don't hit him too hard. Remember, he is a minister. He is a minister, means he is a very respectable person. Who? McCleary. And don't overdo the Scots accent when. Means don't be too much puzzled, don't be over caring. Means first of all, you should take care of this McCleary. A fast approaching siren wailed to its crescendo. Crescendo means when the sound is increased in this way, means siren was there, means ambulance and police van was there, right? So crescendo, the great doors of the prison yard were pushed back, and in this way they were pushed back. White police car squealed to a jerky halt, stopped beside him with a jerk. It just stopped, and a detective superintendent Carter swung himself out of the passenger seat and saluted the governor. What the hell is happening, sir? And turning to McCleary, oh God, who has hit him? But McCleary cut across whatever explanation the governor might have given. The governor was about to give him the explanation, but all of a sudden McCleary spoke in between. Elffield Way, sir, Elffield Way officer, I know where Evans has gone. He was breathing heavily, yeah, because he was injured, right? And leaned for support against the side of the car where the imprint of his bloody hand was left in tarnished crimson red. Means when the blood is getting thicker and reddish, so these are some signs. And in bewilderment, means confusion, Carter looked to the governor for guidance. So now what to do? Means this superintendent Carter was also asking the governor now what next he was supposed to do. Right now, take him with you. If you think he will be all right, He is the only one who seems to know what is happening. Carter opened the back door and helped McCleary inside, and within a few seconds the car leaped away, means ran fast in a spurt with a fast speed of gravel. Gravel means on the concrete road, and spurt, actually this word is used for galloping of horses, means to signify the fast speed. Elseville Way, McCleary had said, and there it was, staring up at the governor from the last few lines of the German text. From Elseville Way, drive to the Haddington roundabout, where these were instructions. Okay, yeah, of course, the examinations board was in Elseville Way, and someone from the board must have been involved in the escape plan for the very beginning. It seems that from the very beginning of this plotting, I think this is plotting, and from the very beginning any outsider might have been involved in this whole. So the question paper itself, the correction slip, all these were fake, or maybe they were used to give hint. The governor turned to Jackson and Stephens. I don't need to tell you what has happened, do I? His voice sounded almost calm in scathing contempt. He was just hating everything, and he was in anger, irritation, contempt was there. And which one of you two morons was it now? The governor is shouting at these two prison officers, Stephen and Jackson's. So he was saying, what you two morons, unfortunate people, wretched people, was it who took Evans for a nice little walk to the main gate and waved him goodbye or bye-bye? Yes, please tell me. You two were there? Yes, sir. But who told you? Means one of you might have taken Evans outside, or this McCleary outside. So me. Who told you? Who gave this instruction to you to see him off and say bye-bye, sir? So it was me, sir. Stammered. Stammered means to speak in a jerky voice. So Stephens, just like you told me, sir, I could have sworn, sir. What? Just like I told you, you are saying, I told you, you are saying, what the hell you are talking about? When you rang, sir, and told me to see him off at the main gate. When was that? The governor's voice was a whiplash now. He was bursting now. He was, when did I tell you, you bloody person? Tell me. You know, sir, about 20 past 11, just before that, sir, you told me, you blithering idiot, man, means sarcastic, abusing words are there. You blithering man, idiot. It wasn't me who rang you. I never called you. I didn't call. Don't you realize? But what was the use now? It was of no use. He had used the telephone at the time. Now he was thinking, but he may be right. I used the telephone at 11:20. Yes. But only to try unsuccessfully once more. He was just trying to make it clear whether everything was okay or not to get through to the examinations board. He was just trying to make a call to the examination board, but he was not successful. He shook his head in growing despair and turned on the senior prison officer. As for you, Jackson, how long have you been pretending you have got a brain? Means he had said everything to Stephen. Now he is telling Jackson, yes, tell me, how long have you had a brain? I don't think you are brainy. You are brain. You are brain. No. Well, I'll tell you something, Jackson. Your skull is empty. Let me tell you. You have nothing in this. This is open and this is empty. Absolutely empty. It was Jackson who had spent 2 hours in Evans' cell the previous evening, and it was Jackson who had confidently reported that there was nothing hidden away there. Means everybody was afraid because they had reported that nothing objectionable was there inside, and yet Evans had somehow managed to conceal not only a false beard, a pair of spectacles, a dog collar, and the rest of his clerical paraphernalia, means articles that are used for various purposes, different things, right? But also some sort of weapon with which he had given McCleary such a terrible blow across the head. How is it possible for this Evans to arrange all these things when we had already gone through, and when we were sitting assured that nothing objectionable was there, nothing harmful was there inside the cell? Then how could they come from? A prison van begged alongside, but the governor made no immediate move. He looked down again at the last line of the German. What was the last line? To the Haddington roundabout, where you go straight over and make your way to Neureben. Neureben? Where is it? I have not heard this. Where on the earth? New something, Neureben means, I think, new something, new grave. Never heard of it. No, that also. But there was a war grave somewhere near Reading, I think that may look like, but no, it was probably a code word. Maybe it is a code word, and then it hit him, and he might have got the hint, got the meaning also. Newbury, God, yes, oh God. Now this is Newbury, was a pretty big sort of a place, but he was confused.